Is there one more? I see you over there. It's bubbling up. It's bubbling up. Come on. Let it out. You can do it. Yes, you. Bubble, bubble, bubble. And like if we don't make eye contact, she will look away and no one knows. Let me tell you, I'm tricky. The lack of eye contact does not change things for me. All right, so when I heard this thing, connections, reflections, and directions, a lot of the things you said were exactly what came to mind for me. Maybe this is about an opportunity for us to network. Maybe this is about a conference that is incredibly diverse, that has a large geographical portion of this conference that's trying to figure out how to reconnect to one another. And maybe this is about figuring out what God is saying to us right now in 2011 about what we need to be doing next as the church. Maybe it's about all of those things. But I had a lot of questions for as many answers as I thought were popping into my mind when I saw this thing. Like, what do we mean when we say connection? Who is it that we're trying to be connected to? Are we just trying to connect between the churches that are already here? Is this a broader circle outside of the churches that are already connected? Are we trying to connect in an ecumenical way, meaning other Christian denominations? Are we trying to connect in an interfaith way, meaning other non-Christian religious organizations and traditions? And what kind of reflection are we talking about? Are we talking about the kind of reflection that happens when you get together at a nice family event? Like a wedding? When everybody's still in a really good mood? Or are we talking about the kind of reflection that comes up when something horrible has happened in the family? When someone has transitioned unexpectedly? When a young person does not graduate from the institution after we have purchased the tickets for the graduation? When a new baby's coming and we thought we were done with babies, or we didn't think we were ready to have any? When we are not on the same page about what we should do with mom or dad or great aunt or great uncle, what kind of reflections are we talking about? Am I the only one who recognizes those reflections look very different depending on the family gathering? Right? The stories we tell when we're all sitting around at the family table, and it doesn't matter if you're at the grown folks table or the little kids table. When it's a good event, those are very different reflections than when something has happened in the context of a family that causes people to be in crisis. Those reflections sound very different.
Well done, John.
Don't always sound like we're aware that the people we're talking to are as much of a firework as we are. Those reflections, when we are surrounded by pain or difficulty or struggle, sometimes cause us to forget that each and every one of us are magnificent in God's eyes and ought to be magnificent in each other's. And so depending on what kind of family gathering it is, it's going to have a lot to do with what kind of directions you go when you leave there. Whether you want to come back to the next family gathering or not. Whether you continue to see yourself as a part of the family or not. Or whether you start thinking, maybe I'm a part of a different family. Maybe I got dropped into this family and I'm not quite sure how it happened. Maybe these people found me on the side of the road. They were good enough to take me in, but now I'm old enough to know better. I'm going to go off and look for my own people? These are the kinds of questions that we have to ask. Now, I believe we did this a second ago, so I think we're okay. Oh, no, John said no, there's always room to do more. Yes,
This is a message from your mother.
oh,
She told me to tell my brother. She loves you.
Nobody knows that song, John. That's not a good selection.
Not happening?
It happens. Sometimes, you go for one, they go for it. Sometimes you go for one, and you're like, I really like that song. This is what happens. This is what happens. It's okay. I still believe in you. I know the next selection will be your best selection. All right. Yeah! Thank you very much. Because we have around here a tolerance for affirmation. All right. No, I'm at the next slide. He's like,
I need the affirmation. Yeah, I need the affirmation.
Live stream Lupe, I'm sorry. It's a beautiful song. I love the song. It's very uplifting, and we're working on some technical difficulties. That's okay though. John did a much better job with that selection. All right, so let's get into a few of these questions that I left out. And the way this is going to work for me this weekend, folks. Today I really want to talk in this time about the connection. I really want to get into a dialogue around the connection. Tonight in worship, I'm going to be talking to you about the move, if you will, between connections and reflections. Later on this evening, I'll be having a conversation with young adults, and I'll be talking to them really digging into the reflection part, what that means for young adults. Some who did not grow up in the church, so what are they reflecting on? Some who have not always felt welcome in the church, so what will their reflection be? And some who are not sure they're interested in the directions moving forward in the church, depending on how we act over the context of this weekend. Can I get an amen in the house? Amen. We are truth tellers around these parts. And then tomorrow, during the early morning keynote, I'll put all three of these things together, and then later on in the afternoon tomorrow, I have an opportunity to speak to the young people, and when I speak with them, what's up, youth? I'm talking to y'all later. Can I get some love? I like this. Okay, everyone, that was me. So, that was better. Thank you very much. Redemption is alive here. We thank you. Believe in redemption. It's a part of one of those Christian values. And so then we'll talk specifically about direction, because again, the youth in our church are going to be primarily responsible for carrying out this direction. So we're going to have that conversation. So our task now is to talk about connections, to really dig into this. So let's get started with these questions.
Working.
Aha! What connects us? Let's go run through these real quick. How do we stay connected? How do we do that? And I don't mean an answer like Twitter and Facebook, and I'm not saying that. What is the benefit of being connected? What's the point? Why do we want to do that? Who are we trying to connect to? Again, is it just the folks who are in this room? The people who are in this building? Folks who are not here and have no interest in coming? Can we broaden the circle of our connection? And if so, how do we do that? What tools can help us to stay connected to each other? What can we do that will help us to strengthen this connection? And how do we connect and stay independent? How do we strengthen these relationships called covenant, and at the same time feel completely confident that what I am doing is in my own autonomous circle? We struggle with this a lot in the United Church of Christ. Right? Yeah, see, there's one amen in the house. And can we be connected and quick? Can we be connected and quick? Meaning, if we've got to wait once a year to have an annual meeting to go through this process to decide what we're going to say, are we able, in terms of our current organizational structure as the church, this is a big C church, to be adaptive in the world in which things change so fast? Do we have enough time to figure out what you think and you think and you think and you think and get a response out before Jesus comes back? Or does the bureaucracy interfere with our ability to do this? So these are the questions. Okay, there we go. These are the questions. This is what I want us to spend our time talking about here this afternoon. And I really want to hear back from you about any of these questions that piques your interest. Any one of them that piques your interest, I want you to come to the mic and talk to me about it. I want to lift up one for you right now. Okay? And that is the what is the benefit of being connected question. Okay? But any of these questions feels to you, your job is to come to the mic and ask something, talk about it, say something. All right? Very nice. Thank you very much. But what I'm going to talk about is the benefit of being connected. Was anybody offended when they saw that question? What's the benefit? Anybody bothered by that? One person was bothered by that. Anybody else brave enough to? I'm going to guess there's probably more than two of you who were offended, but you're like, offended is such a harsh word. I wouldn't go that far. I was mildly irritated. Okay? Are you willing to say why you were offended? No is accepted.
Sure, I will.
Okay, great.
I think that connection is so valuable and essential that it is jarring to ask what the benefit of connection is.
So what she said is, she believes that connection is so essential that it was just sort of jarring that somebody would even ask what the benefit of being connected is. Like, isn't this basic? Don't we all get and understand how important it is to be connected? Why would we even have to ask that question? Are there other folks who thought that way as well? Like, why do we even have to ask this? No, not a lot. Why not?
Well, because I work on a conference committee for nominating people to boards and committees, and it's hard to get people to commit to being connected.
Here we go with the first distinction at the family reunion. Okay? So in theory, right? In theory, we all think being connected is a good idea. Yes? In theory, we think absolutely. I want to remember you, you want to remember me. I remember that time we did that thing and the guy ran by with the shoe and then the other lady had that ice cream. Remember that kid had on that weird t-shirt? That was funny and I was glad you were there and I was there. It was great. In theory. But in practice, this connected thing often boils down to tell me why. Why should I give up one weekend a month to go and do this? Serve on a conference committee. Why should I bother to read through all of the emails and the transcripts? Who really cares about the resolution that just passed at the thingamaboo and I don't even know what that is? What difference does it make? Why should I show up on Sunday morning?